Holy Mother Sri Sarada Devi. The book is written by Swami Ji. We are in the 5th chapter, in Light and Shade. Page 68. We have tried to be as accurate as possible about the number and times of the mother's journeys between Jairambati and Dakshineswar. But in getting a more accurate data, we have to take another factor into consideration. During the period beginning with the date of completion of the master's austerity up to the year 1880, he used to go to Kamarpukur every year during the rains and spend there 3 or 4 months. His physicians advised him to go to the country at that time of the year to recoup his health, which had been impaired by austerity. It is known that when steamers began to ply from Calcutta to Ghata on the river Rupnarayana, the master once went home with the mother and Hriday along that route. They got down from the steamer, probably at Bandar, and then proceeded by boat to Bali Diwanganj, which lies about 8 miles south of Kamarpukur. That was a Vaishnava village. A merchant of the Modaka caste of that village cherished the idea of accommodating some saintly man in his new house for 3 nights. After the arrival of the master and the mother, the weather became so inclement that they had to spend 3 nights at the house. On the 4th day, they went to Hriday's village, Shihor. It was during this visit that the master inspired the people around by joining the Kirtana parties at Shihor and Shyam Bazar, who sang continuously for days. The master visited Jairambati quite a number of times. Whenever he happened to be at Kamarpukur, he used to be taken to Shihor and he would visit Jairambati on the way, stopping there sometimes for more than a week. During one of these nights at Jairambati, when all were asleep, the master suddenly got up and said that he was hungry. The women of the house were in a quandary, for as a consequence of a feast that day, no food was left over except a little rice soaked in a pot of water. The mother passed on the information to the master with not a little hesitation, for that was not the kind of food to be offered to a guest at that hour of the night. But the mother said, "Fetch it." But the master said, "Sir, fetch it." "But there is no curry," put in the mother. "Why not make a little search?" suggested the master. "Do see if even a little of the curry you prepared is left in the pan." The mother found a little bit of a curry and placed this before the master, which made him very happy, and he satisfied his hunger with the food thus got together. The mother usually covered the distance from Jairambati or Kamarpukur to Dakshineswar on foot. Once, when some village women started for Calcutta for a dip in the Ganges on some sacred day, the mother too accompanied them with her nephew Shivaram and her niece Lakshmi Devi. Her idea was to stay on at Dakshineswar after the holy bath. It was settled that their first halt should be at Arambagh, which was 8 miles from Kamarpukur. For in front lay the uninhabited, notorious stretches of fields called Telebelo, which were infested with robbers. People would not cross them alone even in daylight. As a reminder of those fearful days, there is still the terrible image of the goddess Kali in the heart of Telebelo, which the robbers used to invoke before engaging in their nefarious activities. The image is still called the robbers' Kali. On that day we are speaking of, the party from Kamarpukur decided, after reaching Arambagh, that there was plenty of time left for a moderate walker to reach Tarakeshwar before it became too dark, and it was not wise to waste a day for rest which was not really wanted. The mother was well known even from her early age for her unobtrusiveness. If need arose, she would endure discomfort to make it easier for others. In the present instance too, she restarted with them, though she knew well enough that her tired legs could not bear such prolonged strain. Soon she began to lag behind others. Her companions halted 3 or 4 times to allow her to catch up with them. But when at last they were convinced that she could not keep pace with them and that such slow movement would expose all to inevitable danger or even death, and when on top of all this the mother asked them not to worry about her but to go forward, they quickened their steps and were soon lost to sight, while the mother trudged on all alone. When the sun set and the darkness of night began fast enveloping everything around, the mother was still plodding on across the solitary fields of Terebello, full of anxiety, but finding no way out. Just then, she noticed a tall figure emerging out of the darkness and approaching her. When the figure had drawn sufficiently near, the mother saw that it was a man of deep dark color and thick long hair, who had a stout staff on his shoulder and silver bangles round his wrists. She knew that he was a robber, and terror-stricken, she halted at once. The man had no difficulty in understanding her mind, and with a view to terrifying her all the more, he said in a harsh voice, "Hello, who is that standing there at this time? Where would you go?" "Eastward," said the mother. "This is not the way there. You have to go that way," said the man. The mother still made no movement, and the man came very close. But as he looked at the mother's face, there came a sudden change in his demeanor, and the cruel man-hunter said softly, "Don't be afraid. I have a woman with me who has fallen back." At this, the mother's eyes were taken off the immediate danger, and they extended further off where sure enough a woman was moving up. Then she got encouraged and said, "Father, my companions have left me behind. Besides, methinks I have lost my way. Will you kindly take me to them? Your son-in-law lives in the Kali temple of Rani Rasmani at Dakshineswar. I am on my way to him. If you take me to that place, he will treat you very cordially." The woman came up before the mother had finished, and the latter took hold of her hand with full confidence and affection and said, "Mother, I am your daughter Sarada. I am in a terrible plight, having been left behind by my companions. Fortunately, you and father appeared. Otherwise, I can't say what I would have done." This simple behavior, extreme confidence, and sweet disposition conquered the hearts of the robber couple, who belonged to the lowly Bagadi caste. As a result, they forgot the gulf of social difference that separated them from a Brahmin woman, and consoling her as though she was truly a daughter of theirs, did not allow her to proceed further because she was tired. They took her to a little shop nearby, where the woman improvised a bed for her with her clothes and other things, and the man brought some fried rice for her to eat. Then she was laid to rest with extreme affection, the man keeping guard at the door with his staff. At dawn, when they were on their way to Tarakeshwar, the Bagadi mother picked up green peas from the field for the Holy Mother. The latter accepted the affectionate gift like a little girl and put them in her mouth. They reached Tarakeshwar about an hour and a half after sunrise. Here the Bagadi woman said to her husband, "My daughter had nothing to eat at night. Finish the worship of the Lord Tarakeshwar, that is Shiva, soon, and bring some good things from the market. She has to be fed properly today. When the man was out, the companions of the Holy Mother, who had been out in search of her, came to that place and were delighted to find her safe. Then the mother introduced them to her Bagdi mother, who had given her shelter on the previous night, and said, "If they had not appeared and saved me, I don't know what I would have done last night." Here there is a little lengthy note, because when you read this passage, one particular doubt comes in the mind, and I think the note may explain that. There is a little controversy in the printed literature whether the mother had any companion with her. The Leela Prasanga, Divya Bhava, page 260-64, says categorically that there was none. The controversy seems to have arisen because of the mother's reluctance to be adequately communicative about the circumstances of the incidents. Once when she was questioned about this before Swami Ishanananda, the mother avoided a direct answer and told the Swami in confidence, "See, what a fuss they make about hearing this robber story again and again. I don't want to talk." Lakshmi, Shibu and others, though they were with me, left me. Now if that question arises, they would feel sore and look small. Howsoever that might have been, they are my nephew and my niece. If I go on repeatedly narrating the incident, they become dishonored. So I avoid the point. Others don't understand it. It's no good asking me again and again. In fact, the mother did not admit the presence of anybody else. I'll continue for another 2 paras. It is no longer possible to ascertain how this event was viewed by the pilgrims from Kamarpukur, who were uncultured and steeped in caste prejudices. Nor can we gauge how far they realized the full import of that extraordinary drama of affection that was enacted on the solitary field at nightfall, and the intimate relationship that was established between the robber couple, who belonged to a very low caste, and the Brahmin girl who was picked up at that odd hour from a very odd place. Nor do we get any inkling of any light having flashed across the minds of those ignorant villagers with regard to the victory of the sacred, though as yet unfolded motherhood over the cruelty of the robber, or the supremacy of light over darkness when the two came into conflict. An unbiased witness, we only find the Holy Mother, the robber couple, and the Kamarpukur pilgrims cooperating like a family in a common endeavor for their noonday meal, and after finishing it in a very cordial atmosphere, starting for Vaidyabhati on the way to Calcutta. The mother and the Bagdi couple had drawn so close to one another during their single night that all the three began to shed profuse tears at the thought of separation. As the pilgrims moved onward, the Bagdi couple accompanied them for some distance, and the woman picked up some peas with eager hands from the fields, and tying them to the hem of the mother's garment, said in a choked voice, "Dear daughter Sarda, when you chew your fried rice at night, add these to it." At last, the Holy Mother got a promise from the couple that they would visit Dakshineswar, and then managed to take leave of them. The couple kept their promise, visiting Dakshineswar more than once with various gifts for the mother. Sri Ramakrishna, coming to know the whole incident, behaved with them like a true son-in-law. The mother, however, when relating the incident to the devotees, ended it with a significant remark. "Though my robber parents were so simple and well behaved, still it strikes me that they did commit robbery off and on in their earlier days. In other words, she never looked upon them, that thrilling incident on the lonesome plain of Telobello, as an ordinary event. It is beyond our capacity to imagine an adequate reason for the sudden change of mind to the robbers. It might have been that the uncommon guilelessness of the mother and her immaculate holiness exerted an irresistible influence on their minds. Or it might have been that some supernormal factor was at work. That the second surmise is not baseless is apparent from what the Holy Mother told a devotee in the course of a conversation. It had reached the ears of the devotees that when the mother once asked her Bhagdi parents, "Why, my dears, are you so attached to me?" They replied, "You are not, in fact, an ordinary mortal, for we saw you as Kali." "How you speak, my dears? How could you have seen me so?" remonstrated the mother. Unabashed, they said in an agreed voice, "No, mother, there was no mistake about what we saw. You want to hide this from us since we are sinners?" To this the mother said indifferently, "Who knows? I am not in the least aware of it." Here also there is a note. Sri Ashutosh Mitra in the Bengali book Sri Ma, page 31-32, depict the concluding portion of the event thus. The mother says, "The man was a Bagdi by caste. With a harsh voice like that of a robber, he demanded, 'Who art thou?' And he kept on looking at me with his mouth wide agape." A devotee inquired, "What did the robber see as he looked at you thus?" The mother said, "He talked afterwards of having seen me as Kali." The devotee said, "Then you revealed yourself to him as Kali. Speak out, mother, don't hide it, please." The mother said, "Why should I reveal it? He said that he saw me as Kali." The devotee said, "That's all the same. You revealed yourself." The mother said with a smile, "You may take it that way if you like it so." So this chapter has come to a close with this beautiful incident of the robber parents of Holy Mother Sarada Devi. Considering particularly those who are reading out of India, for them who are not aware of the stringent caste values that are available in the village side of India, they will not be able to appreciate the wonderful relationship that has come up between Holy Mother and the Bagdi caste, the robbers. Because in the caste scenario, if you see, the Bagdi caste is considered as one of the lowest of the caste. That means they can rob a person, they can loot a person, they can take the property of others, and there is no moral or ethical values for that. They think that it is all okay. And then they worship Mother Kali. And even in the jungles you will find the Kali's temples are there, Mother Kali's worship. And the robbers have got, they call it Dakat Kali. The Kali has got one name. The Dakat Kali means the robbers Kali. So the robbers go and worship before they loot one another village. So it's very interesting, how they seek the help of the divine intervention to have success in their endeavor of looting another. So even for that, even for robbing another person, you require some siddhi, Otherwise, how you will get without that divine intervention? How you will get siddhi? How you will get success in your work? So, sarvakareshu sarvada, that we say Saraswati, Saraswati namastubhyam varade kamarupini. Vidyarambham karishyami. I am starting my studies now. Vidyarambham karishyami. Siddhir bhavatu me sada. All the time let me have success. So if you want success in all the time and in all the activities, you must ask the Divine Mother to help you. And that is what the robbers used to do. But it's really strange. Such a low caste robbers, they tied up with Holy Mother who belonged to the highest caste in that community. That Bengali community's highest caste was Mukherjee. and Chatterjee. Nowadays we call Mukherjee and Chatterjee. The original title is Mukhopadhyaya and Chattopadhyaya. So they are very highest caste. And a girl of that family coming and getting into relationship as parent with these Bagadi robbers is something unheard of. Within the same caste perhaps one can tie up such type of relationships, but going so below in that caste hierarchy and getting into a relationship, this is something, a great wonder in mother's life. From the beginning we see, she was only at that time 17-year-old girl. But you can see that from that beginning, she had no problem with the caste. Whoever comes to her. And actually, how the caste systems can be, transcended in Holy Mother life, we find that. That's what same thing Swamiji also did on Durga Puja time. When he started the first Durga Puja, he made all the people sit on one line and fed them. And some pandits who came on his invitation, they saw all the castes are sitting in one line. So they got up, said, we will not take food here, because you have put us with the low caste people. Whether it is Mukherjee or it is a Mandal, all are seated together, you see. That was not accepted by them. Then Swamiji had to come and tell them, no, this is a place, a temple, where, as per my Guru Sri Ramakrishna, if you are a devotee of God, we belong to one caste. So in society you may have different types of hierarchies. But when you come inside the Belur Mat, the temple, here you are all one caste because you are all devotees. So devotees form themselves as a class or a caste, you can say. So there was no difference, he said. Then they all sat and then they took food. So the caste difference was so much. You can see the highest Brahmin class also can give certain diktats, certain rules. In those days, the Brahmins of Calcutta, they believed that if you cross the ocean, then you become a pariah. And you are not allowed to go back inside to your village. So, outcast. Pariah means outcast. That means there are 4 main caste divisions are there. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Sudra. Of all these 4 castes also you are gotten out. That means you are taken out from these 4 categories. That means there is no category for you. That category is called pariah. So these pariah caste people, you are considered as a pariah if you cross over the ocean. But somebody asked, did not Hanuman cross over the ocean? But we worship him. So how does that matter? So crossing the ocean cannot be a point of losing the caste. But then they don't accept it because of that, small-mindedness. So they would not agree to all such arguments. So they said yes. So they said that no. When Swamiji went boldly with the permission of Holy Mother to America, before he went to America, he had to seek permission from Holy Mother. If Holy Mother was also of that, she belonged to the highest caste, no doubt. But she didn't have such type of ideas. She was very progressive. Consider that at that time, when Holy Mother says to Naren, yes, you must go. And Naren went. And when he came back as Swami Vivekananda, the world famous Vivekananda, and he wanted to enter the Dakshineswar temple, all the Brahmins came there and stopped him from entering into the Dakshineswar temple. And Swamiji says with great remorse and anguish, says, this is the temple where I met Ramakrishna, my Guru. And on the steps of the Mother Kali's temple, how many days and nights I have sat at the feet of my Guru and learned so many things in this temple. And there, now I am barred from entering. So Swamiji feels very bad. So if you cross it, and now you see how after Swamiji's arrival, there are a lot of developments that happened in India. Perhaps we are not aware of the developments, particularly the caste differences have gone so much out in vogue now. Now we have so many people are coming out of our country, crossing the ocean Still we go to the Dakshineswara temple, nobody is stopping us. Even foreigners are now allowed, so no problem. So I told Swami Purnananda, when last time when he went to Dakshineswara temple. Is it not Maharaj? Nobody to stop you. And consider the same our Ireland-born sister Nivedita. When Nivedita went to Calcutta at that time, Swamiji himself was not allowed to enter the Dakshineswara temple. What to talk about a foreign woman to that extent. When Nivedita went, Nivedita says that she could not enter the Dakshineswara temple. From the distance, she would stand outside the compound and look at the mother temples. And she would be waiting for the students because she had some students. And then the students will be taken to, on an excursion. Sometimes she would take it to Dakshineswara temple. And the students are all Bengali girls. So they will go. One girl writes after she became elderly, she writes in her reminiscences. At that young age, she was like you. So that girl, she says, when I looked, turned back and saw Nivedita standing there. Today I understand, rather than us, Nivedita should have been near the Mother Kali. She was fittest person. She writes about understanding the difference between Nivedita and herself, you see. She understands how great Nivedita was. She should have been in front of Mother Kali instead of us. She writes like that. So, that is the caste difference. That Holy Mother's progressive ideas from the childhood, you can see that. So, Swami Gambhiranji says here that Master had visited several times to Kamarpukur and Jairamati in that time, and he says how it is wonderful. There's one incident, he gives a very peculiar incident. One night at Jairamati, Sri Ramakrishna is a son-in-law of Jairamati, you see. So in that house he is there. When son-in-law says he wants to eat something, so the people have to feed something. And unfortunately on that night, nothing was there. Nothing means nothing to enough. But then how much was there? A simple rice was there, very little, and that, and there was nothing besides that rice. But Master did not leave that. He says that you see properly. Can you get a curry for me? And in the midnight, who will prepare curry for him? And mother has to prepare. And it's not possible in the night to prepare a curry. And then she said, but mother found a little bit of curry and placed this before the master, which made him very happy. And he satisfied his hunger with the food thus got together. This incident takes me to one of the Puranic story of Mahabharata, that in that great epic, that Itihasa, there is a story of how Sri Krishna got satisfied by taking one grain of rice from a vessel, which Draupadi had not yet cleaned it. She has just kept it for cleaning. The story goes like that, that one great Durvasa Muni with 1,000 disciples, he comes to see these Pancha Pandavas, 5 Pandavas, and he tells Draupadi, we are going to the village, the river, Nadi, that river, and we will take bath there, and finishing our puja, we will come back at 12 o'clock, mid-noon. So you have to feed us. For 1,000 people living in a forest, she doesn't have any grocery also. How she will feed 1,000 people? But the Rishi says and goes away. And she's worried. So Draupadi is worried. Whenever she gets worried, what she does? She calls Krishna. Krishna is her brother, you see. So she calls Krishna. Hey Krishna, help us. So Krishna comes there and he tells Draupadi, what is the matter? Why you are remembering me today? Then she says, this is the problem. Now Durvasa is coming with 1,000 devotees or his disciples. How to feed them? Okay, you have one vessel, is it not? I heard that Lord Surya gave you one vessel. Is that not vessel? How Draupadi used to manage food, in the jungle? It is said, Lord Surya gave one vessel to her. It's called Akshaya Patra. That means a vessel that never empties itself. Till Draupadi eats. So in the morning after the sun rises, you tell that vessel, give me payas. Immediately the payas will be there. So you can eat payas. You give me rice, it will be there. Of course we are fond of breads. So we can, if you have that vessel, we can ask for breads. So plenty of breads we can have. So like that, anything you demand, it will give you. And the condition is till Draupadi feeds herself. Once Draupadi eats from the pot, that's all. On that day, nothing will happen. You can't get anything. So on that day also Draupadi has already eaten. But the vessel was kept there, not yet cleaned. So Sri Krishna said, bring that vessel. And he is searching here, there. At one place, one grain of rice was there. And he took it and ate it. And he was fully startled. Tasmin tushte jagat tushtam, they say. So the jagat means the whole universe becomes satisfied when the Lord is satisfied. So that is what he did. So Sri Krishna ate it, and 1,000 that disciples, Durvasa Muni is coming back, and Draupadi is shivering because he may give some curse, He is very great in giving curses. So she was wondering what will happen now. And Krishna is smiling all the time, as if nothing has happened. And Durvasa Muni sees Krishna. Once Durvasa taught Krishna also. So he was something like a Upaguru for Krishna. So Krishna also goes and washes his feet and says, oh, Guru, you have come. So what we can do? Tell me. He said, no, we can't eat anything. He says, we are so full. So we can't eat anything. No, don't prepare anything for us. Like that he's telling. And Draupadi is smiling. Okay. So Krishna has done this. So it remains this because Sri Ramakrishna ate and he was fully satisfied. How many people in that village must have, on that day, must have remained, unfed and must have been satisfied, we do not know. That statistics we have not taken. But then it must have been like that. When Avatar Purushas come and do some Leela, there has been always some inner meaning to that. So why he suddenly got up in the night and wanted to eat? To satisfy somebody, but we do not know who are they and how many of them. So that is wonderful. So, and after narrating this incident, he comes to this end of the chapter with this wonderful incident of the robbers couple. Here, philosophically, always, Swami Gambhirananji's writing style is, after telling the incident, he goes into the philosophy of that incident. So, he says, these robbers, who could have looted Holy Mother easily because she had some ornaments on her person. So they could have looted that, and then she could have thrown her. Like that, whatever they could have wanted, they could have done. But instead of that, they did not. They took pity on her. And she says, when Mother later says in another place, that when I called that robber as father, the moment I called him, as I approached him as father, his mood changed. And he saw his own daughter standing before him. And he took this little daughter to his wife also. And then she made arrangement for us to stay for the night. Everything is done. So it is wonderful that Gambhirananji analyzes this. It might have been, he says, that the uncommon guilelessness of the mother and her immaculate holiness, these two reasons exerted an irresistible influence on their minds. He says, this can be a reason. If a very, very simple, innocent person comes and talks to you, your mind also gets infested or infected, that is a better word, infected by that type of purity, and immediately you also become pure. That's why when see good people, when you good sadhus, etc., your mind must think that yes, if I see a person, if that person can remind me of God, then that person is a godly person. So that holiness can exert great influence on that. That might have been at work, or there may be a supernormal factor. Swami Gambhiranji takes the second surmise, that is the supernormal factor, also can be there, he says. That the second surmise is not baseless. He says, if somebody says there is a supernormal factor, because of that the robbers consider her as their daughter, that also can be taken, he says, because that Bagdi parents, once mother herself was stunned at the behavior and treating her in such a wonderful way. So she asked the Bagdi parents, why are you treating like this? Why you did not behave like an ordinary robber on that day? What was the specialty on that night that you became so good to me? It is not that you have been good to all the people, because even after the incident happened, after meeting Ramakrishna also, they were doing robbery. So it was quite natural. So in one of the later visits in Dakshineswar, mother asked them, what did you see in me? So they said that we saw you as Kali. This is something, it's this supernormal factor, as Gambhiranji calls it, is something wonderful. We see even in the early late days, mother has revealed. That's why when one devotee said, oh, that means you have revealed Mother Kali's nature to that robber. That's why he became Kali, because he is the devotee of Kali. So he took it, you as Mother Kali. But mother did not accept that idea to that devotee. So whatever it is, it's all right. If you think like that, you think it like that, she brushed aside. But mother says that when I asked the robber parent, they told me that they saw me in me, Kali said. You are not in fact an ordinary mortal. This is something wonderful, A robber man is telling this little girl, when we saw you, we did not find you that you are an ordinary mortal. So if you are ordinary mortal, we would have done as per our profession, what we have to do. But you are not an ordinary mortal, because we saw you as Kali. When we saw you as Kali, naturally our behaviors changed. Our behaviors changed. So if you see divine in something, your behavior is definitely to change. How can you be normal in those circumstances? So she says, you are not in fact an ordinary mortal, for we saw you as Kali. How you speak, my dears? How could you have seen me so? Remonstrated the mother. That means mother gave a reply to her. She said, why do you say like that? But anabesh, that's a beautiful word, that is without any hesitancy, without any type of shame, said. But immediately the reply came, and in an aggrieved voice. Aggrieved voice because they are feeling mother is not believing them. Though that is the grievance, that is a grievance there. No, mother, there was no mistake about what we saw. Then the grievance comes because mother was not accepting their argument, you see. And for that also there is a reason. You want to hide this from us since we are sinners. See, that is the caste. The caste system was so terrible. Swamiji worked against the caste system because of that. It made you feel so lowly and so like a sinner, and said, because we are sinners, we do robbery, we loot others' property. So you don't want to tell us that you are Mother Kali. You are hiding from us. And mother said, who knows? I am not in the least aware of it. Without her being aware, she has been showing her that divinely nature to many people in the earlier also. We saw at the Jagadadri Puja time how she was. The mother Jagadadri Murti was there, and Mother Sarada, small little girl, is sitting there. She is also one of the audience. She is sitting there. From another village, one Brahmin priest has come and he was sitting behind. Suddenly he saw that Mother Jagadadri, from that statue, she has come away and she is sitting in front of her, where Sarada was sitting. And he looked at her, then looked at the Murti, looked at her. 2-3 times he did like that. He got fear. What? Mother Jagadhatri has got out from that statue and she's sitting in front of her. So he got up and he ran away from that place. He was so afraid. You know, when divine personalities come like that before us, are we ready to receive that? In most of the time, we are not ready to receive the divine, the comprehension power of to how you accept the divinity. That's why if Ramakrishna comes before us today, what we will do, we do not know. Whether we will recognize him or not. When mother comes, we may not recognize. In one place, I went to Mysore because we just had Durga Puja and the Devi Paksha is now continuing, This will continue till the end of Jagadhatri Puja. So 1 month this will continue. So at this time only I had gone to Mysore. From Ooty, I came to Mysore. In Ooty, a few devotees, at that time I was a brahmachari. And they gave me some pranamis. So I kept all the money in my pocket. And then, at that time, I had some progressive ideas, I thought. One of the progressive ideas I had at that time was the begging should be banned from India. Nobody should beg. We should have a country where no beggars are there. It may be a lofty idea, that you want everyone to be rich. That's a very good idea. But then, what you will do with the existing beggars? So, the idea is, because you are giving something to the beggars, they are continuing their begging profession. So, stop giving. So, don't encourage this begging. So, that was my idea. So, with that idea, I am sitting in the bus. And the bus reached Mysore. Mysore, I have gone to see Mother Durga's temple. That's a very beautiful Chamundeshwari. The temple is there. I want to go and see that. For a long time I have been planning. So I got the opportunity. And opposite to Mysore Palace, the bus stopped. All the people got down. And all alone I am there. And the conductor comes and tells me, are you going to Ramakrishna Mission? Because seeing the brahmachari dress, he understood. Are you going to Ramakrishna Mission? I said, yes. That is the next stop to next stop. Our bus is going that side only. I will drop you there. So you don't need to walk. So I was sitting all alone. Driver, conductor also got down because 15 minutes stoppage there. All alone sitting there. And at the entrance, I am putting my hand on the rails of the bus and sitting and looking at that fun factor. And then one old lady, maybe 120 years maybe, that type of looking old, everywhere, that skin has become crumbled like, and the wrinkles. With the wrinkles, she came up with the staff in her hand. And she looked at me, she asked something. At that time, I immediately realized, hey, just 3 hours before devotees gave me pranami, I could have just taken it and given to her. But then, my pride, I remembered I should not encourage this. And then I will not give. I said no. And then the steps are there, you see in the bus, 3-4 steps. So one by one step, she was taking time to get down backwards. It's very difficult for an old person, holding with one hand and then holding the staff. Slowly she was getting down and got to the ground. At that time it struck me, what I am doing? Is not Durga Chamundeshwari has come to me in this form and testing me? Immediately got up and coming down the bus, I couldn't see her anywhere.
You could not see her?
See her.
Oh my God.
She disappeared. And from the bus, where she could go, that old lady, it takes some time to walk, And immediately I came down. I couldn't see her. That put me in such a terrible state of mind, I reached our ashram. I was not at all in the normal mood. And my best friend, the training center friend, that Swami, that is the brahmachari was there. So we were together in the same class, in the same bench we used to sit in the classes. So we are good friends. He is now the head of Davangiri Center. So he was there. So I told his name was Sringeshwar. Sringeshwar, I feel very bad. I have done a great mistake. I don't know what I can do. He said, you can do prashchita. How many days you are going to stay? I am going to stay here for about 10 days. Okay, 1 week you do upas. Don't eat anything. Once in a day, after the sunset, I will bring you milk and fruits. That only you will eat. And every day you chant Sri Sri Chandi, whole book, and ask for forgiveness from the whole mother. And after the 7th day on the last day of your upas, I will take you to Chamundeshwari. I said, very good. That is called Prayaschitta. You know, Prayaschitta means an activity or an act that you do to nullify the bad effects of the other karma that you did. So the Prayaschitta is been sanctioned in Shastras. So in many of the karmic Shastras, where you give the, particularly this is very important, Prayaschitta is important, you find it not in the Jnana Marga of that Upanishads, etc., but in the Karma Marga, you will find this idea coming. For every act, there is the result. And if the bad result is coming, you can do some Prayaschitta to mend yourself. That's all. That is the purpose. So I did that. And the 7th day he took me to the temple and we had a nice puja, etc. So I remember that, you know, the divine comes in front of us. Are we ready to take that? Think of, we are all very ordinary mortals. Think of Devaki. Devaki was such a great lady. She has done 1000 years tapasya and she asked Lord Vishnu. Vishnu was her Ishtadevata. And she said, oh Vishnu, I want you to be my son in my next birth. And then Vishnu appeared before her in Vishnu's form, not in any other form, Vishnu's form. Here actually I felt mother deceived me by coming in the form which I didn't know. If she has come really in her own form, I do not know what would I have done. So I would have gone into unconscious state, that's all. But then Vishnu came to her and asked her, I said, what do you want? He said, I want you as my son. And then in the next birth as a Devaki, Vishnu appeared as Vishnu in a small child like. But he had Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. All the 4 he had in his hands. And he is standing with the Gada, but in a miniature form. He is standing before Devaki and telling Devaki, I am here. She is asking, oh Lord, why are you here? I am surprised to see you. Why are you here in this prison? Then Lord said, oh, you forgot. 1000 years you made tapasya for me that I should come to you as your son, and you forgot everything. Oh, what a bad thing. To remind you, I have taken this form. Said, no, I don't want to see you like this. I want you as my child. So I want to feed you my milk. So you turn it. Then the Lord turns into a small baby. And that's how she says. In Bhagavatam, she says that Vishnu appears and tells her that I am Vishnu, I am going to come to you as and to take birth. Then she gets a child and the child is delivered. That's how the story goes like that. But in Rama Avatar, Kaushalya asks the same thing. It is not in Valmiki Ramayana, it is in Tulsidas Ramayana. There Tulsidas says that Lord Hari comes before her and explains to Kaushalya, this is what. So she says, if you stay like this like a child, I cannot feed you and you are not going to cry. And how people will know that I got a child? So go and turn yourself into an ordinary child. So then Vishnu turns into Ram, that small child, and that child starts crying. Then people comes to know she has delivered a child outside. So like that, you know. So if the Lord himself comes, if the Devi comes like that, how do you know? You will never know. Mother Kali coming before us, only like Ramakrishna and other great saints who have seen, who had vision of divine forms, they can only say. Normal people, if they have an inkling of divine form, immediately their mind cannot be attached to the body. The mind will be transported to superconscious state and the person will become unconscious. That's what happens. That one of the Swamis who was serving Holy Mother, I can remember this because Jagadadri Puja is coming now, and his name was Hari Premananda. As a small child, he used to come to Holy Mother in Jairambati. And then he saw the monks around her. So he wanted to become a monk. And he told Holy Mother, said, yes, you will become a monk, don't worry. And he became a monk. Even after becoming a monk also, he used to do all personal service to Holy Mother. Washing her clothes and massaging her feet, putting oil during the winter time. All those things he used to do. Though he has grown up now, he is a monk now, but then he used to sit under her feet, and Holy Mother also very old at that time. 2 years before her passing, Holy Mother was sitting in Bankuda, and there Hari Brahmanji was her sevak, and he was doing all the seva, and he was massaging the feet of Holy Mother. While massaging the feet, suddenly his thought ran like this. People say that Divine Mother, the Universal Mother, has taken the form of Mother Sarada, but her feet is so bony, no flesh. The veins are very visible, and such poor and skinny body. And how can you consider her as a Jagaddatri? People are telling her Jagaddatri. How can it be? Like that he is having the doubt. Immediately is looking while massaging himself. Quietly he was massaging. See, the sari is fallen over the hands. Suddenly he only feeling the feet. Suddenly he felt the feet has assumed differently. He could feel it was like a 20-year-old youthful girl's feet. How the feet would be supple and nice. Like that he felt. Suddenly he felt what? And there are some ornaments in the feet. The ornaments were not there earlier. Suddenly he felt, what is this? And slowly he is raising his head, and he found that she is having wonderful sarees, magnificent sarees, and he is looking above her. She is like the Jagaddatri, she is there sitting, and with that that crown, etc., and the snake on her breast, and everything is there like Jagaddatri. The moment he had the vision of Jagaddatri, he went into Samadhi. That's all. He fell unconscious. And how long he was unconscious, nobody knows. Suddenly he heard a call. He said, Hari, Hari, like that sweet voice of the Holy Mother, and the tapping of the back. Then slowly he raises his eyes. He looks at the old Holy Mother is sitting there. Oh, my Holy Mother is sitting here. Like that you could understand that. So it is said that divine visuals can be sometimes very much tormenting, in the sense that you are not able to receive it. That's why in spiritual life, as it progresses slowly, one person gains several stages he has to go, and then only he can see. Suddenly, if God comes before us, we do not know what will happen. We will go into unconscious, that's all. What is unconscious means? It means our mind, which is ordinarily attached to body and the senses and the external world, is taken willfully by the power of the presence of the divinity before us, taken to a superconscious state. This happened with many. Even Swamiji Shishya says, his disciple says, when I looked before Swamiji, I felt that he was a Sakshat Shiva himself has come. I could see that he was Shiva himself. So like that, when visions come like that, it is terrific, and the mind goes to a much higher superconscious state. That's what happens. So with this we shall continue next week. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.